Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and today we have a fun little video where we're going to talk about Radiant Red Maple. Yeah, so, oh my god, I can't believe it, but it's coming back. And so what's crazy is I was pondering this, and I had made a post on my Instagram all the way back in September 5th of 2022, and this coincided with when the weekly candle drop candles had come out for last fall with like the sweet cinnamon pumpkin / sweater weather mix, which was amazing, and the candy maple bacon, and a lot of those they said like new and vault, and we're like, I wish they had some vault candles in these weekly candle drops, and I believe they didn't last year. They only had new. So then what I did was I mocked up on my Instagram of a selection of candles that I would want to see come back from the vault, and of those I mocked up in similar packaging: blueberry pumpkin patch, peanut butter and jelly, radiant red maple, pumpkin sugar donut, and apple pumpkin pancakes. And what's crazy is 3 out of those 5 candles have actually kind of surfaced this year. I'm just like, my manifesting skills, just like craziness, a whole like a year later. If only you guys know what I'm about to say here, so I'm not even gonna say it, but you know what I'm about to say. But yeah, just crazy manifesting skills. So blueberry pumpkin patch was the first one on that post, and that came back, and like we got it, which is pretty awesome. And it's just like, wow, okay. But then PB&J was on there, and we actually did kind of get PB&J in the form of PB&J ice cream. Granted, it was kind of mixed with wild raspberry jam donut, or was it wild berry jam donut? And PB&J was kind of mixed together in this, but this is truly the next best thing to PB&J, and I love this to pieces, much as I did PB&J. And so we kind of got that back, and now we finally have information that Radiant Red Maple is coming, and I'll post a photo of the new one here. And yeah, it's also coming back. So 3 out of the 5, so we didn't get pumpkin sugar donut and we didn't get apple pumpkin pancakes, but I really can't complain about 3 out of the 5. So kind of crazy, because it appears as though maybe Bath & Body Works does listen to us on social media. I don't know if it's just a mere coincidence or what it is, but if I am partially to credit for it, you're so welcome. But yeah, just craziness. But yeah, in any case, so yes, Radiant Red Maple is slated to come out. This information, I kind of like, I was posting about it a while back, but I think it's also been confirmed by Life Inside the Page, has reported that it is part of a secret candle menu collection that's supposed to be held until September 7th, so we can assume maybe there'll be some kind of weekly candle drop plus candle sale that weekend, possibly not. But yeah, and there's also the absolute abomination that is twisted peppermint plus pumpkin spice latte blend or whatever. I'm just like, what in the world? Like, that doesn't even sound appealing by name, but when you dissect that fragrance, pumpkin spice latte is really just sweet tiramisu, and it's not really a pumpkin spice latte fragrance. There's not a whole lot of like actual pumpkin pie spices in it. It's more so like this sort of creamy vanilla, like sponge cake type of fragrance that I guess passes as pumpkin spice latte now. But if you were to think of it as like sweet tiramisu plus twisted peppermint, it would be like kind of like a vanilla cream cake mixed with peppermint. So it could be like a peppermint vanilla cake, which that wouldn't be like so awful or terrible. But when you think of it in terms of pumpkin spice latte and twisted peppermint, that just sounds totally weird and completely unnecessary. But there was a pumpkin mint milkshake fragrance out before that tested but did not make it wide, and so people are maybe speculating it might be that. We don't know. I haven't smelled it. So yeah, but today's video is about Radiant Red Maple, so we'll get into that. So yes, this year's Radiant Red Maple in absolutely like hideous packaging. It's crazy how the extremes are with their packaging. It's like they go from like the, you know, pretty minimalistic sort of modern packaging that we get from the neutral stuff and some other collections as well. And then the other extreme of like, okay, yeah, we like fun, hypey, like cute packaging too, but they usually take these weekly candle drop packagings to the other complete extreme of like delving into like Dollar Tree children's birthday party favors type of decor and design on it, where there's like a red maple leaf with like confetti, and then like this horrid like magenta colored square box. I'm just like, oh my god. But I mean, it's Radiant Red Maple, so it's the one candle that I'll be willing to give a pass when it comes to grody packaging. But the notes on it do say apple, woods, and marshmallow. It does have the vault checked on it, which is like so satisfying after like having mocked that up myself last year of having the vault checked because they were all new last year. And then it does say vault 2015, so it does reference the fact that it came out in 2015. So that is what this year's version looks like. And so we do have indeed Radiant Red Maple from 2015. I think I got like 3 of these. I really enjoyed this when it came out. It had that beautiful gold lid on it. I do have to say this packaging is much superior to that grody Dollar Tree Party Favor packaging, but it is what it is. This one, $22.50. The aromas of crisp red McIntosh apples, smoky woods, and a hint of toasted marshmallow bring a feeling of fall into the air. And I have burned this one. I was holding on to this for the longest time, and I was like, girl, I'm gonna die someday, so what am I doing like holding on to these candles and not burning them? Oh my god, amazing. I love this. So this was actually, fun fact, the candle that kind of popularized a whole batch variation discussion where apparently people were smelling a version that smelled like rubbing alcohol, and then other people were smelling the very juicy, awesome version that smells like caramel apples mixed with like marshmallow fireside, and that is the version that I always got. And so it was kind of like this whole batch variation thing where there was an alcoholic rubbing alcohol version and a one that wasn't. I still to this day do not know whether or not there was a true batch variation. Like, I feel like there's rarely times where there's 2 different candles, or like there's the same candle that have 2 completely different fragrances in it. Like, it's totally understandable if somebody interprets a fragrance differently, and like everyone's sort of noses and opinions and the way you then translate what you smell through your nose is quite subjective. So I can understand that maybe like a candle would smell different for one person to another because you just interpret things differently. But the batch variation kind of conversation kind of went in the way of like there was a batch that was poured with one fragrance oil or one variation of a fragrance oil, and then there was another one. And I'm sure like weird things happen in the factory and stuff, but I haven't really ever come across a candle where like the fragrance is like truly that strikingly different from one version to another. But they do indeed sometimes put out like revisionary batches later on where like, let's say the lid is different, or they fix the typo on Pink Lavender Espresso, or they've like changed the wicks. I've experienced versions like way long ago where like one batch will have a certain type of wick and then another batch will have a different type of wick. I think Cozy Linen and Nectarine, the first time it came out, had an instance like that. So there are batch variations in that case, but like this candle was the one that was like so divisive that like, I guess to just like smooth things over and be politically correct, it's just kind of like, okay, it's just a batch variation. You smell this one thing and you smell the other thing. It's not a difference in opinion, but rather that Bath & Body Works is intentionally putting out 2 completely different fragrances and marketing it out there. But that's still a highly debated and contested topic to this point, but I just kind of wanted to bring it into the conversation because I feel like Radiant Red Maple was truly like one of the first fragrances that kind of put the whole batch variation thing like into our candle lexicon, so to speak. So yes, but in any case, the version that I always had and I've always enjoyed of Radiant Red Maple is, oh my god. So if you like marshmallow fireside with a smoky, juicy, marshmallowy with a little bit of like a crisp smokiness, you know, and that velvety, powdery marshmallow amazingness, it makes that with like this super sweet, syrupy sweet, like maple / caramel drenched apple fragrance. And the funny thing is, so of course they don't list all the notes on these candles on the bottom, but many times what you can do is look for a dupe fragrance oil of like a Bath & Body Works fragrance and like type it into Google and type in like Radiant Red Maple fragrance oil, and you will find duplication oils of that fragrance. But what happens is, because these duplication companies kind of like make the fragrance oil themselves, they will often publish like the entire mid, top, and bottom notes of the candles to kind of like inform the people who are buying the fragrance oil what to expect of the fragrance. And sure enough, in the duplication oils, in the notes, it does say there's caramel in there. And I've always gotten much pushback on the fact that people were saying this doesn't at all smell like caramel, but I'm here to inform you that the notes on the duplication oils do indeed list caramel as one of the bottom notes. So I feel good about that. But yes, so in any case, there is caramel listed as one of the notes in the bottom notes in the duplication oils, but it also lists like maple in there as well. So think of like a very sweet, sweet, sweet apple that's like drenched in like this caramely, mapley sweet syrup, and then just shove that in with marshmallow fireside. And that's what you get from Radiant Red Maple. The packaging and the mood on this was just a little weird, because when you think of Radiant Red Maple and you see the trees on there, you're gonna think of like some outdoorsy, like, I don't know, like a leaves fragrance or even like a woodsy fragrance, and that's just not quite the case. There's a smokiness in here from Marshmallow Fireside, but the apple is so immensely sweet and gourmand in a very caramely maple type of fashion that it's not really truly like a outdoor like, you know, like a fresh balsam or like a mountain air fragrance. It's not really like that. It's like this basically a caramel apple marshmallow is what it is, or like a maple apple marshmallow. And you definitely get, I think the fact that the maple is so like heavy and syrupy can maybe lead people to think that it does kind of smell like boozy in a certain like a fermented apple type of way, in the way that like apple cider fragrances have like a sort of fermentation to it that kind of smells boozy. So I can get that equation there. But in any case, loved it. It was always a strong performer, and it always burned great too. So Radiant Red Maple right there. So super excited to see that. So if any of what I told you interests you, then check out for the secret candle menu drop whenever that comes, sometime in September. But it's just crazy that like there were so many candles that I had requested on that post, and like sure enough it comes out here. And like this is truly one of the biggest one-hit wonders ever, all the way back from 2015 and to never come back. But another last interesting side point is that we did actually get something kind of similar to it, and it's funny that we get something like this the year that Radiant Maple actually does come out as itself. And we did get Marshmallow Fireside and Black Cherry Merlot earlier in the year for SAS, and this was toasted marshmallow, crystallized amber, wild black cherries, and velvety red wine. And this was actually kind of the next best thing to Radiant Red Maple, to the point that I did buy backups of this one, because I was like, okay, this is actually kind of close to it, in the sense that once again, you get that Marshmallow Fireside mix in there, but then you also get like some kind of like sweet, like fruity fragrance that you get from the cherry in here. And so when you compare the two, these two are definitely different, but sibling fragrances are similar in the sense that it's like a fruit mix with Marshmallow Fireside. I would have to say Radiant Red Maple is sweeter and more syrupy and just so much heavier on that maple and caramel element, whereas this is much more toned down and less syrupy sweet in comparison to Radiant Red Maple, but a similar feel nonetheless. But it's just funny that like when we get something that comes close to it is also the year that we actually get Radiant Red Maple. So I'm not complaining though. So that is my entire video on Radiant Red Maple. I hope you enjoyed the rambling. Let me know if you're excited for Radiant Red Maple. Leave your thoughts all down below. And I'll see you guys indeed when Radiant Red Maple does actually surface and I have it in my hands. And of course I will do a video when that happens. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.